Okay, welcome to Spirit Alliance. My name is Marty Rawson.
Hey, I'm Rowan Dixon. Nice to be here with you all.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me once again, Rohan. This has been such a good time uh, speaking with you on spiritual topics. And today we're going to be talking about ascension symptoms and the ascension process and what it all means. And I think that people all over the planet are going through ascension symptoms, and a lot of people don't know what to do about them. And so we hope to provide a little bit of relief as well, and a little bit of insight so that you can understand what's going on, because this is a major change that's never taken place on this planet to this extent before. And I think people need to, have a broader understanding of what's going on. So I know that you have had your fair amount of experience with that, Rohan. So how
Yeah,
about if we turn it over to you?
yeah, thanks very much, Marty. It's something that I've just been through over the last few years, and it took me a while to sort of understand what was going on. When I had my awakening and started to expand consciousness, but also the ascension symptoms that I went through. Um, so when I was tuning in today, what was coming through for me was that our experience on Earth has always been love and fear, or negative, positive, the dualities of that, which we're still experiencing.
Yeah.
Um, however, because Earth is ascending into the fifth dimension, um, the lower vibrations don't exist there. They're higher vibrations. So we've got both on us. We've got all of the higher vibrations of love, joy, happiness, fun, things like smiling, dancing, fun hobbies, laughing. All those things are higher vibrations that make us feel good, and are higher vibrations within our body and our energy field. But then we have the lower vibrations of fear and, depression and sadness and anger and frustration and all of the sort of negative emotions that we feel. Although what's happening with Earth is, as Earth's ascending, those lower vibrations in New Earth, in the fifth dimension, or as you mentioned, Marty, the higher fourth dimension, we won't experience that. So it's an experience. We're experiencing both at the moment, but as we ascend, the experience for New Earth will be of the higher vibrations of love. And so the frequency of existence of everything, all it is, the universe, is unconditional love. And so that's what is of the fifth dimension. So we'll be experiencing that, and we can assist with the shift to New Earth even now by, having those higher vibrations in our life and introducing those to our life. So although with the ascension process of some of the ascension symptoms that we go through, that we're still experiencing, is because we've incarnated to Earth many, many times. So, and Earth's been in a place of both those dualities of positive and negative, and there's been a lot of suppression on Earth. So a lot of people have got, those lower vibrations to clear. They're still within our energy field, from past life experiences or things we've experienced in this life, because those energies still exist there, on Earth. So but what's happening with Earth ascending is we're an opportunity now to be able to clear that out, to heal those, to finalize our lessons that we've learned. Millions of souls have chosen to come here at this time to be able to finish up, some of the karmic lessons they need to finish up, clear some of those low vibrations they've experienced in past lives that are still lingering with them. And things like that. So we've got an amazing opportunity now to really raise our vibration and our consciousness. And another word for consciousness is awareness. So we're expanding our awareness of who we are and what we've been through. And so that's why people are starting to become more and more aware of the things that they need to clear, the lessons they need to finish, being more self-aware. But as we go through that process, what happens is we start to have the symptoms. So we'll go through, it could be quite distressing for people, or quite traumatic and quite emotional and distressing, because there's been a term called the dark night of the soul. You know, when we go through that really clearing out of those old habits, behaviors, all of the karma that we're dealing with from past lives, anything that's sort of lingering and hanging on that we need to clear out, we're generally going through a pretty hard time, you know, emotionally. However, it's a very positive thing, because what we do, and this is kind of something I tuned in and found out through my guides, is that we can bring that into the emotional body and feel it. And then once it passes through the emotional body and we feel it and bring awareness to why we went through it, why we're experiencing it, without getting caught up in it, not getting engaging it, but just understanding it's a phase we're going through with awareness. The awareness helps to dissolve it, to heal it, to clear it through the emotional body of the feeling. So we have to go through those feelings, those sort of negative emotions and feelings of the lower vibrations, to understand it and clear out whatever it is we're going through. And then once we've done that, we go through that healing process and it dissolves and we move through it. And then we start to ascend and expand our awareness, expand our consciousness. And it's like kind of, I guess, being in a dark room when you're going through those darker periods. And then all of a sudden you open the door and you walk out and it's bright sunshine and you're in a beautiful garden or something like that, you know, where you've gone through this sort of, it's like a catalyst for us to be able to heal. And so, you know, a lot of those symptoms that we could go through will clear and we come out the other side, and then we're able to be in a much better place with our lives. And a lot of that process too is questioning things. So we might tend to start questioning things at a deeper level. And especially if we're going through some harder periods, emotional, or some things that we're going through within that dark night of the soul. Why are we experiencing it? You know, why am I feeling this way? Where did it come from? How do I deal with this? How is it related to me? What experience is it related to? That's how we get the understanding about it. But a lot of people who are ascending as well and expanding their awareness and consciousness spiritually are asking questions too about, why are we here on earth? What's the real purpose of life? Who am I? What's my true purpose? You know, how do I find my highest path in life? All of that's a big question when we're awakening, and that's part of the process too. So we're sending out lots of questions and receiving more awareness, because when we start to question, we start to get the bigger picture and answer of things, and then we expand our consciousness and awareness again. And generally, when we start to get the answer to those bigger questions, about the real reality of our lives on earth, then that's a connection to, you know, spirit, the spirit world, guardian angels, ascended masters, spirit guides, God, the universe, and so on. And then we really start to awaken up to higher consciousness and awareness. So that's just a few things that I've experienced, Marty, that I went through. And also, as I was tuning in today, I got some things from Spirit, and also, yeah. So I
All right.
guess the message out of that is, I think that one other thing is when we question things, and we need to understand the things that we need to heal, and sort of move away from discern what's still serving us and what's not. That's sort of what they call the shadow work or inner work,
Mhm.
where we're starting to really get more awareness of who we are. And that starts to also help to soften the ego, because a lot of our old habits, behaviors, past, plays into the ego, because the ego lives in the past or the future. It's never in the present, with our habits and behaviors and acting from our habits and behaviors of the past. So when we
Yeah.
start to be able to heal and clear all that, we're also starting to soften the ego, where the ego can then be more authentic and come from the heart as we evolve spiritually, and expand our awareness and consciousness.
All right. All right. Fantastic. Um, some of the aspects of this that I was hoping to touch on were the physical symptoms that people are going through and some of the connections to the nervous system, because we are literally changing our bodies from a carbon-based anatomy to a crystalline-based anatomy. And we're doing that while we're inhabiting this physical body. And that is a major change to go through. And during that process, it is very taxing on your nervous system, your endocrine system, your entire body, everything that is going on. I think a lot of people will relate to the fatigue and the being needing much more sleep than usual and having a disruption of your sleep cycle. I know that mine is nothing like what it was formerly during my lifetime. Um, you might be experiencing electrical sensations or energy fluctuations, getting hot and cold, ringing in the ears. There's so many different symptoms that are taking place, and that's just the physical ones. We haven't even got to the psychological or emotional or anything else, because we try to separate ourselves into different aspects uh, of ourselves, like physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, but we're all actually one being, and these are aspects of ourselves that influence one another. And so, as much as we try to categorize them in nice little neat boxes, they do affect our entire being. And so, as we go through this, there's a lot of things that are taking place. Now, one of the things that I have noticed firsthand is I've had several friends who have recently been going to doctors, friends and family who have gone to the doctors, and these are mostly women, um, and said, look, I'm having all of these symptoms from getting anxiety and nervousness, having my heart palpitations, having my blood pressure shoot up, having all sorts of different things. And the doctors are simply, you can tell that they've seen this so much that they're tired of seeing it. And they're literally turning people away and saying, there's nothing wrong with you. They'll run the tests, they can't find anything, and they're just turning them away and saying there's nothing wrong. And that's to the point in this area that it's really kind of disturbing. And with I'm not a doctor, I'm not pretending to be a doctor, but I do have a long history of healing and Ayurvedic medicine and energy medicine and a lot of other things. And so I literally put things together on an energetic basis. And what I have found is that when you look at the hypothalamus gland, the hypothalamus is called the master gland because it is the main connection for both the pituitary gland and the connection between the nervous system and the endocrine system. Now, when you're talking about the endocrine system and the nervous system, this is what runs the entire engine of your body. Okay. This is the master controller of all of that. And as we have been batted around in all of these energies and everything, and some people, you know, the awareness of what's going on varies among people to a great degree. And so some people don't have a clue what's going on. Some people, even though they know what's going on, don't know what to do about it. And so I wanted to share just a few things that the hypothalamus, the spiritual connection that the hypothalamus has, so that you can appreciate what all it does. Okay. The hypothalamus acts as the crucial link between the body and the mind, and relaying energies from the cortex to the lower autonomic centers. Okay. It integrates emotional information and influences psychological and behavioral responses. Right there takes you into your emotions and your behaviors and everything else. That's why you're seeing a lot of people acting out. Okay. The hypothalamus maintains internal balance by regulating essential body functions like temperature, hunger, sleeping, and awaking cycles, thirst, and stress responses. Everything that people are complaining about, everything that they're going through, the hypothalamus regulates that. It's involved in emotions like fear and rage, as well as social behaviors in general. Okay. Some religions and spiritual matters view the hypothalamus as they understand that it controls the mind and the emotions. Okay. The meditative practices can actually influence the hypothalamus to a great degree. The hypothalamus is called the master gland because it controls the pituitary gland, which in turn regulates the rest of the endocrine glands. It has a direct connection to the third eye through the pituitary gland. And in Buddhism, it is considered to influence the Buddha mind, literally to what allows you to gain the unity consciousness. Okay. So the hypothalamus is very much involved with our spiritual awareness and the connection that all of that has to our bodies. And when we look at this and we see the overlapping symptoms that the hypothalamus has with ascension symptoms, they both have in common the body temperature fluctuations. Okay. They both have in common the sleep disturbances. They both have in common the fatigue and general weakness. They both have in common the emotional and behavioral changes. They both have in common the headaches that many people are experiencing and the changes in appetite and weight that people are experiencing as well. And that's not even counting the vision issues that people are having, okay, that also is affected by the hypothalamus. So what I did upon discovering all of this was I immediately went into what can I do in order to affect the hypothalamus. Okay, what can I do to help bring it into bring it back into balance and help people? Okay, so what I did, since in Ayurveda we use marma points, but as a former martial artist, I used a lot of acupressure points. Okay, so I love both systems. They actually work for two different things. The acupressure works on the nervous system, and the marma points of Ayurveda work through the nadis and the chakras, and they actually work directly with the etheric body, the anatomy of the spirit. Okay, so between the two of them, if you combine them, you can get a very well-rounded system, and working with the points is pretty much the same with both systems. Okay, so I don't want to go through the entire list that I have here. We can offer that to people if they want to email me or whatever. But I have an entire workup of the acupressure points that a person can use, acupressure and marma points, that they can use to stimulate the hypothalamus gland. And I have already done this with my wife, for one, to help her relieve her symptoms. And it is not an immediate, it's not like flipping a light switch, but over the next several days, she noticed a great relief of a lot of her symptoms. Okay, so it's something that we really need to start looking at what is going on with our bodies, understanding some of these ancient systems actually had answers to the issues that we are going through right now, because what we're talking about is the energy body and its connection to the physical body. And marmotherapy and acupressure are two of the things that directly relate to that. So I just want to say that with just a little bit of looking into this, I've been able to help people already and really help alleviate some of the symptoms. Now, beyond that, we do need to stress, and maybe people are tired of hearing this, but you do need to keep yourself well hydrated. You do need to probably get out into nature. You do need to start doing your breathing exercises. And, just simple box breathing is very good to calm the nervous system down and to help you get into a more peaceful and relaxed state of mind and everything else. There are many things that we can advise people to do that will help greatly. And one other last little thing that I want to mention is we all came here. We all knew we were coming here during this lifetime. All of the star seeds, all of the people that are doing spiritual work, we all came here. We all knew basically before we came in what was going to happen, and we came anyway. So we came here to help. We came here to be of assistance, and we knew it was going to be rough, but that's why we were chosen. It's because we knew we could handle it. Okay, so take that as your own responsibility. Own the fact that you chose to be here, but don't fight the energies. As you get hit with a wave of whatever wave hits you, because I personally know that you can be perfectly fine and then all of a sudden have a wave of either sadness or depression or anger or whatever, and it isn't yours because you didn't do anything to get there. Okay, it just all of a sudden hits you. And understand that we are filtering basically 13,000 years worth of muck that we as earthlings have deposited on this planet, and we are transmuting that energy through us. And so we have to realize that we're an active participant in this filtering system. And so you don't resist it. You allow it to go through you. You say, this isn't mine. I turn it over to spirit. And you simply allow it to go. And if you allow it, you will find that it will pass through you much easier. And you'll start to deal with things in quite a bit better fashion. Okay. So it's uh that's some of the main advice that I wanted to give people, because you can't fight your way through this. You've got to allow a lot of it and then take good care of yourself. So I'll give you
And
a chance to speak again.
fantastic, Marty. Love that. And you know what's incredible is when you started talking about the nervous system, I went, oh, wow. Okay, now I understand. Because only just yesterday and today in my meditations, I received information about the nervous system. So they coordinated it. They must have wanted me to talk about it on top of what you've just mentioned,
All right.
which is perfect alignment. So I'm very thankful to my guides for bringing through the messages that they gave me yesterday and today, which is an amazing alignment. You know, it's incredible how they work. Um, so I had my notes right here because I only wrote them out yesterday and today. So I'll just read them. This is the message that I got, was that the nervous system in the body is the most important system to keep the body healthy. So whenever there's a disturbance in the nervous system, disturbance is sent to the cells in the body that creates illness and disease. And they said to note the word disease, which is dis-ease or not ease. So by keeping the nervous system calm and at ease, relaxed, peaceful, it creates a stable and balanced, clear nervous system and keeps us healthy. And then they went on to say that the nervous system is healthy. It enables clear flow of light through the pathways to the cells, shining clear light into the cells, creating clarity and higher vibration, which is why we feel invigorated, happy, have more energy. When the nervous system is disturbed, distressed, the flow of light is dimmed, lowered, lower vibration, causing tiredness, less energy, constricted and stagnant. That causes lower emotional energy, illness and disease. And they went on to say what you mentioned, breathing exercises assist with clear flow to the nervous system when in a calm state.
Mhm.
So it's very aligned with what you're talking about. And they also sort of mentioned too that it's important what you mentioned, healthy lifestyle, hydration, exercise, the things that bring us joy are all going to assist. However, we can do all the right things by eating fresh, clean foods, lots of water, doing exercise, doing breathing exercises. However, none of that matters, they said, if there's disturbance in the emotional system. Because if there's distress mentally or stress through depression or anxiety or anger or whatever sort of negative emotion comes up, normally from thought in the mind, all of that good work that you've done with your healthy lifestyle is still going to just put disturbance into the nervous system. And that's going to send disturbance to the cells of the body and create illness and disease. So it's very, very important that the most important thing is that we have a clear state of mind, that we're calm, at ease, and through meditation and breath work, and clearing our energy field, like things like Qigong. Qigong's magnificent for clearing the energy field of around our body and within our body. Because the breath, you know, Marty, as you know, in ancient civilizations like in India, it's prana, in China, it's chi, and in Japan, it's ki, and
Right.
it's all universal life force energy. So breath is very, very important, but also keeping a very clear and balanced and calm, at ease, not stressed peace of mind is the key. Um, they also said, Marty, which I'll just read as well, to communicate. So they mentioned to me that they said, this is what they said. They said that the nervous system, the meridians, the neurological pathways, and the chakras are cosmic pathways for them to communicate and for us to receive light. So they said, this is how they explained it, that they communicate with me telepathically. We use your intelligence to communicate a connection through the intelligence of the source field. It is a communication line, a signal, a stream. So the clearer the connection, the clearer the signal. It's an electrical channel, a current from us through the intelligence of the source field to the intelligence of your wiring system. So keeping it open, clear, and free flowing in your meditations will be how we can transmit clear messages to you. So I found that quite fascinating, that that's how they're, they're using, or that's how they're communicating with me telepathically. So it's all intertwined in what you're talking about with the wiring system of our nervous system. And I hadn't heard about the hypothalamus gland. How do you pronounce that, Marty?
Yeah, hypothalamus.
Hypothalamus gland. So I made a note there to look more into that, and I'm definitely going to do some research on that. So thanks, mate.
Yeah.
That's great.
And if you want to, you can even Google or use an AI. That's what I do a lot of times, is do a lot of searches with AI, and just ask for the marma points and acupressure points that affect the hypothalamus gland. And
Great.
the to stimulate them, you simply rub each one of those points. The pressure should be right there where it's between pleasure and pain. And if they're a little bit sensitive, you know that that's part of that, you're onto something, because when any of those points are sensitive, it means that they're a little bit clogged and energy isn't flowing through them properly. And so
Okay.
it means that you're on the right track if they're a little bit sensitive. So you massage them where it's right between pleasure and pain for about 5 minutes, and then move to the next one. Okay. And if you want to really get into it, you can what they call chasing the stream. And if you rub a spot and you feel a twinge or something somewhere else, you feel something somewhere else. I'll just put it that way. You'll know it when you feel it. Okay. But if you're rubbing a point and you feel something somewhere else when you hit that point, then go do that one next. And if you feel another one, then go do that one next until you don't feel something somewhere else, because that is telling you that that energy flows along that line. And you need to clear up all of those points and then go back to the next hypothalamus line or point, and just go right on down the system. And you could be there for a little while, but it's literally one of the most healthy things that you can do for yourself. And if you can imagine your own energy, your own prana, as beautiful, clear particles of light coming out of your fingertips while you're massaging it, that's even better. And just think of the love and light of the creator coming right through your fingers, because that's part of who you are. Okay.
Amazing, Marty. Yeah.
So one of the things that I would highly recommend for people, because I do believe that we are entering a phase of this shift that is going to be fairly tumultuous for the next 3 months or so. And I want to really offer people as much help and assistance as possible during this time. And so what I would try to recommend is a couple of things. One, connect with the creator as many times as you can a day. And by that, you don't have to go off and hide and do a big ceremony or anything. You just internally within yourself talk to source and say, Creator, I would love to have your energy flow through me now. Okay. Be with me now, flow through me now. I want this connection with you now. Okay. It can be very, very simple, but it has to be heartfelt, because that's what makes the connection actually real. is that it's a real heartfelt request. And the other thing is, and this is a breathing technique, but it's also a visualization technique. And being of service right now is one of the most powerful ways that there is to raise your own frequency and to also help you through these ascension symptoms. And so one of the techniques that I love to use is I will just sit for a minute, and as I inhale, I will bring down the clear white crystalline light of source down through my crown chakra. And I will bring up this beautiful healing green, emerald green light of Gaia up through my root chakra, and I will have them meet in my heart. And I qualify them with love. I slowly breathe in and breathe these two energies into my heart. And then as I exhale outward to the entire planet. All of that love and light that goes out. And I just send it to every molecule on the planet. All that is, every single, literally every nanoparticle of the planet, I'm sending this love and light out to. And you do that for as long as you want. Okay. And when you are being of service and sending love and light out to the entire world in literally an act of unconditional love, that helps clear you out, and it helps raise your vibrational frequency. Okay. It's just a natural part of service. And that's what we came here to do. I mean, all of this is what we came here to do. So anyway, that's just one thing I wanted to offer people, to give them a chance to do their service work. That's very easy and free to do. So
Fantastic, Marty. Yeah, I do a very similar meditation and breathing and visualizing light.
yeah,
And yeah, projecting that. It's powerful. And the more people that do it, it's going to help to expand the light and ground the light on Earth, because we're a conduit of light, you
yeah,
know. So yeah, I guess I might just share some things about, if there's anyone that's sort of gone to the next stage and are ascending or coming online with some things that they'll go through as they come online with their gifts or their psychic senses. So I sort of mentioned before about the shadow work and questioning things and going through that, releasing old habits, behaviors. Maybe it's more distressing in a dark night of the soul. Once we sort of move through that, we come into the light more, so to speak, and we normally will start, if you're starting to connect to your psychic abilities, we sort of start to change our perspective on the world, and things that we've done in the past might not seem so important. Our relationships with people might change. Um, we start to be able to notice people, which is no judgment, although you can start to notice the people who are still operating very much of the ego or the personality. When you go through that ascension and awakening, that part becomes softened, and you're able to notice it in people. So yeah, obviously everyone's on their own path and we don't judge, but you might be able to notice that Something else is you start to be drawn to spiritual practices, and getting into community groups, meeting others, doing development courses, listening to podcasts, reading books online, YouTube stuff. You sort of go through a big sponge stage of
Yeah.
wanting to find out, as much of spiritual topics and information and learning as possible. So that's all a part of your awakening, expanding your awareness, consciousness, and understanding. Um, and then, we let go more, we flow more. What else have I got here? Then we have our connection to the divine. Um, we feel lighter. We might feel clearer. Um, because that's all of that lower vibrational stuff. We're not feeling as dense anymore. Which, so often I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I just feel a lightness in my body. So that's a sort of ascension symptoms positively
Mhm.
that I've noticed. Deja vu, you might experience more deja vu, synchronicities or alignment. Um, you know, you have more patience. Um, yeah. Also, something that I noticed too was vibrational changes, like tingling in the body, getting pulses in the body. You become sensitive to light or sound.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
the ringing in the ears, which you mentioned before, Marty. Often, too, there's the spiritual waking hour of 3 to 4 a.m. Maybe that's why you're always awake at 4 a.m., Marty. But I
Oh,
noticed,
yeah.
you know what I'm talking about, that spiritual hour or 2 hours there. You tend to just sort of wake up around that 3 or 4 o'clock period. I think that's because everyone's asleep and everything's settled and there's not as much energetic activity going on in the collective consciousness. Um, and I've noticed that things are quite clear. When I do my meditations at those hours, the communication's quite clear from spirit. You're more attuned for some reason. I don't really know why it's that time. I think it's to do with just because it's a very early time of the morning and people are asleep. Have you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, the cycle of the day itself has a high and a low maximum. Okay, the energetics. And at 3 a.m. plus or minus an hour is when the, let's say, the least uh energetic interference exists uh, within the psychic field for humans. And so it makes it that much easier for us to connect with spirit. So if you can, and trust me, I did not start waking up on purpose this early. It just happened over time. And I am usually awake now by 2 o'clock in the morning, no matter what time I go to bed, which is kind of frustrating. But at the same time, I'm ready by 3 o'clock to do my meditations and the things that I do every morning. Okay. And so I just use it to my advantage and just keep going. But it literally has to do with the energy cycle of the day itself. And so at 3 o'clock in the morning, that's the time of least resistance for uh, your connection with spirit. So yeah, it's a
So
real
it's
thing.
I was just about to say that. You took the words out of my mouth. It's a thing. Yeah, I don't know. I just started waking up and I was like, why am I always waking up at 3 or 4 o'clock? But then I realized,
Yeah.
yeah. So some other things, you might become more self-aware, and wishing to work on self-development, being more present, not so much in the past or the future anymore. Um, you realize everyone has their own path, more compassionate, not judging, changes in your lifestyle, your diet, drawn to spiritual teachings. Um, Another thing too, Marty, is that I noticed that a lot of people go through, and I went through this when you start having these experiences in your meditation or with spirit and all of these alignments and synchronicities and profound moments that you have with spirit, you just think, what the F is going on? Is this real? Am I going crazy? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And that's quite common. So I went through that. You're not crazy. It's actually very honoring, and it's great to be able to experience it. But I did think, is this real, or am
Yeah.
I just making this up? Is this a dream? You know, you question the reality of it.
I
But
think everybody I know that has gone through this has had that moment.
yes,
It's funny because it's almost
absolutely.
identical, you know. Yeah,
Absolutely. So this is only the ego doubting or resisting, you know, the truth.
yeah,
Um, so it's common. And then you might go through a period of where things lull, because you might go through, some people might do it very gradually for their whole life or gradually over a long period, where others might have a really huge expansion over a short period of time, but then it slows or it stalls just because you need to integrate. And
yeah.
I was questioning that because I went through incredible, profound things were going on, and then all of a sudden it started to slow and almost came to a standstill. And I thought, oh, am I doing something wrong? Why isn't it coming through my meditations anymore? And it just came through from my guides that it's gradual. It goes in stages. It might be gradual or big amount for a while, and then it'll slow because we need to integrate it. If they gave us everything at once, it'd be too much.
Right.
So it's just a part of the process and the progress. Um, what else?
There's one other aspect I wanted to speak of, if you got just
Yeah, go
one
for it.
second. And this is something that's very real, and it isn't always talked about, but those who are awakening and um, really working on their spiritual growth and actually raising their vibrational frequency, um, you need to remember that uh, you were at a lower frequency prior to this. And a lot of the people that you were uh, hanging around with had the same frequency that you did before. And like frequencies attract, okay? They really do. Um, it's the old thing of birds of a feather flock together. We have a lot of sayings for it, but basically, like energies attract. And so people of like mind attract, people of like energy attract. And as you start raising your vibrational frequency, you very well may find that some of the people in your circle no longer uh, can deal with that. And you may be uh, subjected to people who all of a sudden just turn on you, or just all of a sudden decide they don't like you anymore. And most of the time, they don't even know why. But if you are working on yourself spiritually and you are getting verbally assaulted or treating poorly by certain people who, let's say, are not working on themselves, okay, don't take that personal. That is actually a sign that your light is triggering them because they don't know what it is, they don't like it, they just know that you're different than you used to be, and they don't like that. They like the old you. So if you keep progressing, then you will find that that will stop, they will fade out of your life, and they will be replaced by people who are actually working on themselves and are very authentic and real heartfelt, wonderful people. Okay. So you're not going to lose anything. You never actually lose anything in this process. But people should understand that this is a very real aspect of this process, and it does take place. And especially over the next 3 months or so, I think there's going to be a lot of clashing between the unawakened and those who are awakening to their spiritual gifts and stuff. And so you just have to try to maintain a higher viewpoint, understand that they don't comprehend what is going on with the world or with themselves. They don't understand any of this. And so you just treat them with as much love and compassion as you can. That doesn't mean you have to tolerate abuse, but you treat them with as much love and compassion as you can, and then carry on your business. Okay. So I don't want this to, go into negative territory, but it is a very real thing that people are going to get hit with. And I think they need a fair warning about it so that they can go, okay, I heard about this. Okay. I don't need to take it personal. It's actually a good sign. I'm just going to keep on going, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, Marty. That's very good advice, and it sort of draws me back to something I forgot to mention earlier, um, about a feeling that might come up for people, which is challenging, is that feeling a disconnection to the world and what's going on, especially the negative things, um, and trying to understand that, or getting a feeling, especially when you're starting to understand things in a bit bigger picture and your perspective's changing and you're feeling a little bit disconnected and not understanding what's going on, with the world at large, or even in your community. Um, there's some people who go through these awakening ascensions. They don't want to be here. They want to go home. Not they get that feeling, I don't feel at home. I want to go home, meaning to their real home.
Yeah.
In the cosmos, wherever that is. But I just really love to let people know that there's a lot of people that go through that. I went through that, and it's okay. It means that you're a light worker, which is a beautiful thing, that you're filled with light, surrounded with light, um, and you're here to ground light on Earth to help assist with the new Earth. And the lower vibrations of things that are going on, all of the negative challenges that we've got on Earth, we can choose the experience to move away from that and help to assist to bring in the experience of New Earth into the fifth dimension. And that's why you're awakening, because you're a light worker.
Yes.
You're here to do spiritual work in beautiful ways, in small or larger ways, however it feels best to you, to to be of your light, because we are all of light.
Yes.
And if you're awakening and having this spiritual growth and starting to connect with guides, or even just to understand that you're feeling that you are that, then that's a great thing. So yeah, just to try and discern, and not to try and pay too much attention to the negative things, and focus on love, light, and
Yeah.
joy. Um, yeah, so that might lead into just some last notes I've got on practices to assist with ascension shift,
All right.
which is grounding, sitting, walking, time spent in nature. Nature supports us, um, makes us feel calm, and is very good for our healing. Mindful journaling, writing down all your thoughts and feelings and dreams, any messages or profound moments you have with spirit, your experiences, your intuitive insights. Nourish the body, water, fresh, healthy food, quiet stillness in meditation, creative expression, hobbies, community involvement, breathing exercises, energy field clearing, which we mentioned before, qi gong or tai chi, using crystals when meditating, wearing crystal jewelry or having it in the house with you or taking it to work with you. Submerge in fresh water, lake, river, waterfall, or if you can't do that, in a bath. Water is very, very healing, especially when
Yes.
we submerge in fresh water. And we can, light candles, have a bath, and do our meditations in fresh water, or listen to some meditation music. Very, very good. Observe your thoughts and be aware if they are in the past or the future and not beneficial or in the present. And gently return to the present moment without engaging those thoughts or judging them. Just be gentle on yourself. And look around and find beauty, which is everywhere. If we really look, you can find beauty everywhere, and feel gratitude, and that'll bring you back to the moment. And that's something I've noticed, that when we move, people who are ascending and moving into this fifth dimensional energy, that's something that you start to notice more beauty around you, especially nature. Yeah, I think that's it, Marty.
Okay. Well, I would like to add one thing to that, and that is energy work. Um, Energy work is one of the most important things that you can do for yourself, and that is both in getting energy work done by a good practitioner, and also even learning how to do energy work. Okay. Because when you are channeling uh, the divine force, that the living light that is the creator, when you're doing that, that helps clear out your system as well. And you actually get a Reiki treatment when you're doing Reiki or EMF balancing or pranic therapy or whichever type that it is. I've practiced all of them, and it's basically it all works very well, and it all works very well together. But if you've got chakras that are clogged up, and that they need to be cleaned out, and a good practitioner should be able to help you with that. And you'll be amazed at the load of emotional debris that can be cleared out and processed through. It's very important. And also, um, literally learning how to do Reiki and these other energy forms of healing is probably one of the best ways to catapult your spiritual growth, because you will be amazed at how much it helps cleanse the energy body and the nadis of the etheric body, because you're literally channeling this divine life force energy through you, and it helps tremendously. It's a huge catapult for spiritual growth. I think probably one of the most powerful that there is. And so I wanted to really put that out there, that the energy workers are going to be in high demand as we go forward. There's a lot of technology that's going to be coming out, I believe, that's going to be very advanced and very helpful. And people, and it's along the energy line. And I think people are going to also realize that, well, wow, this is similar to doing energy work. Why don't I just learn that? Because one of the things that uh, other civilizations have done is they embrace technology so much that they try to they kind of go overboard with the technology. And the thing that I want to remind people of is that the greatest technology in the entire universe is your own soul. Okay. there there is no higher technology than the being of light that you are. And if you want to develop high technology, that's where you need to focus. And that's what we're doing as we build our vibrational frequency and we ascend. In many ways, you can look at ascension two ways. You can look at it as if we are attempting to ascend into the higher dimensions, or you can look at it from your higher self's point of view. And that is that, well, when you raise your vibrational frequency high enough, then I can descend and live within you in the physical. Okay. So from your higher self's point of view, this is a descension process, but it's all about marrying the physical with the divine so that we can walk in unity once more while we're on a physical planet. And that is a beautiful thing. That is something that's why the whole universe is here watching us and is supporting us. And we literally have so much assistance. So no matter how heavy things get, keep your connection with the light and just keep taking one step forward every day. and if you keep your eye focused on the goal, you're going to be just fine. And so I want to give that little bit of encouragement to everybody. So
Fantastic, Marty. Brilliant. I love it. Yeah, so I think that's it from me, Marty. That was great. I really enjoyed it. I guess the last thing I'd just say is you, you mentioned earlier about bringing light in through the crown chakra to your heart and sending that out to the world.
yeah,
We can also do that for ourselves by the breath work. So you can bring that in through the chakra, from the universe through the chakra, crown chakra, sorry, through the pranic tube and then out the base chakra. So if we just breathe in and out and imagine
yeah,
light, or I see light going through the pranic tube, through our body, down, up and down, up and down, up and down. So you're bringing it from the universe down through to the earth and back and forward, up and down like that is magnificent. And also breathing in deep breaths like that while we're doing that and clearing our pranic tube, we're also bringing in light and breath and oxygen to all of the pathways in our body that we were talking about before, the cells, through the nervous system, the meridians,
yeah.
into the cells of the body to cleanse and clear and bring in more light into the body. So it's cleaning the pranic tube, but it's also bringing light into the cells of the body. So it's very good to just sit and breathe
Yeah.
in and out and see that light coming into your body.
Can I
Is very good. Yep.
can I expand on that a little bit because um, that reminded me an original technique that was brought through by the one of the greatest spiritual teachers that I know of, Kenyon. I absolutely love his work, and in his book, the Hathor material, uh, the Hathors bring through a technique that was almost identical to the one I talked about earlier. But I want to give people the chance to try this because if you actually do it sincerely, okay, you got to really get into it and do it for real. But if you do, it is absolutely amazing the results you'll have. And what you do is you simply bring energies up from the earth and from source and quiet and um, while you are in holding that energy in your heart, you qualify it with the love and light of yourself and the creator. And the first several times you just qualify it and you keep on doing it until you get to a point where you can feel the energy has built up to an amazing degree. And when you finally get to that point where you can feel the energy has built up very much in your heart, you blow out very forcefully, okay, a hard, sudden expulsion of air. And when you do that, you give your intention to blow all that love and light into the cells of your body. And you shift your awareness from your heart center to your body. It's just, and you just shift your awareness, and you will feel all of that incredible love and light literally pour into the cells of your body, and you will literally send a wave of tingling and sensation through every cell of your body. And it's incredibly pleasurable. Okay. It's like nothing else you'll feel. Okay. And that is how to tell every cell in your body how much you love and appreciate the fine work that they're doing. Okay. And it's very powerful, and it feels really, really good, really amazing. And that's just a small touch of the love of the creator. So,
I haven't heard that, Marty. I'll have to get some info on that for you. Yeah, the only other thing I thought of just while you're talking was that one of the expansion or ascension symptoms you might notice if you're clairvoyant is you start to notice and see, or if you're a sentient feeler, you might feel more light around you. I tend to feel it, but also see it. So
all right.
you'll see light coming down for you and expanding in your energy field around you, and you just feel more clear. You see more light around because that's what's happening. We're able to bring
Yeah.
in more light into our energy field and into us. Um, yeah, so I'd like to wish everyone well on their journey with spirit, and if they're going through the expansion and ascension stages, enjoy it and embrace it. And it's you're here to do wonderful things for Earth and humanity by bringing your light to Earth to anchor it or ground it on Earth during Earth expansion and ascension. And thanks so much for you today, Marty. It's been great.
Hey, thank you, Rohan. I appreciate it. Would you like to give out your contact information?
Yeah, sure. I think I've mentioned it before in our chats that I'm working towards being a spiritual worker. I'm not working at the moment, although I'm very happy to help people and chat to people spiritually. I'm happy to even do free um, psychic readings for people or mediumship readings. If anyone's interested, it'd give me great practice. I can communicate with your guides and also relative past loved ones, um, and also bring through messages of guidance for you. Um, I'm not working, but I'm happy to do that for free, or even just to meet like-minded spiritual people who would like to just chat, catch up, make friends. Really happy to do that.
All
Always
right.
love to talk spiritually. So if people do want to reach out, they can contact me at ROH Dixon, Dixon. So ROHDIXON at hotmail.com.
All right. All right. Fantastic. Fantastic. Maybe I'll have to take you up on that. So, all right. Well, my name is, as I've told you before, Marty Rawson. My book up here is available on Amazon and Audible. Um, and it has really helped a lot of people on their spiritual path. There's a lot of methods to work with energy and spirit and set you on your journey working with spirit. I do energy work. I am a Holy Fire 3 Karuna Reiki master online and in person. I am an Ayurvedic practitioner. I'm a level 5 facilitator of the Melchizedek method, which is a Merkaba activation and multidimensional healing technique. Yeah, I do a little bit of stuff. So you can contact me at aspiritalliance@gmail.com. And I look forward to hearing from you. And above and beyond all else, know that you are loved, more than you can possibly imagine. And enjoy your time and treat one another with kindness. So have a wonderful day. Bye.